Now we're going to do a light pass with an 80 grit. Flip it over. Gets rid of the last of the scratches. That looks pretty good, actually. All right, let's get the other one. Looking, this is the bottom, so it doesn't have to be quite as good because nobody's going to see it. Veneers separate a little bit, but hey, they're old speakers. This is okay. Looking good. Now we're going to switch to, I think I'm going to go right to 220 grit because the surface is pretty good shape now, so we just got to smooth it out and get it ready for the finish. Putting on a 220 grit piece of sandpaper here. Remember to line up the holes. some people like to finish higher than 220 grit, and that's fine. It doesn't hurt anything, but you don't need to either. 220 grit makes a real nice smooth surface. There, nice and smooth. This is ready for finishing. What do you think, Ruby? Is it ready for finishing? Are you ready? Let's do the other one first, though. Again, that's the bottom. The bottom doesn't need to be quite as nice. 3 more sides to go. There, not too bad. It's finished with 220 grit, smooth enough. Now next we're going to clean it off with naphtha, and then we're going to put some finish on it. Now that we have all the sanding done, we're going to clean these things off with a little paint thinner. Go get 'em, Ruby. Go get 'em. This gets rid of all the sawdust. Makes the surface ready. For finish. Get a little more on here, as you can see. Get good and wet. Won't soak through. Get it nice and clean. I like to use a pair of food grade gloves because they're really cheap and they work fine. You want to protect your hands as much as you can. Alright, let's get the last side here. Need a little more. Did you get him, Ruby? Did you get him? Alright, let's switch and do the next one. Notice the rag doesn't have to be soaking wet, it just has to be damp. Just getting this off. Switch to a clean part of the rag. Put a little more on there. That should be enough to finish. Flip again. Nice and clean. Only the last side. And now, surfaces are ready for finish. Now, one thing to be a little careful of, these rags with paint thinner on them, you always want to let them dry out. You don't want to pile them up in the corner. Never want to start a fire, and that's what the old timers used to say, and I believe the old timers. Finally, we're going to put some finish on. Now, one of my favorites is Minwax Tung Oil Finish. Now, it says tung oil on it, but I'm not sure how much tung oil there is in it. There's some polyurethane in it. But I'll tell you, I really like it. And the reason is it's so easy to apply. Simply pour it on, rub it around. A little more on there. Let it soak in a little bit. Oh, this is drinking it up. Let's put a little more on there. Get it good and wet, let it soak in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to wipe it off with a clean cloth, and we're going to switch sides. Go in there a little bit more. Stuff is so easy to use. No brushes, no thinner, no nothing. You just pour it on, wipe it off. There, how's that look? Switch sides. Start doing the side here. Sometimes I pour it on the hand. Just rub it in good, let it soak in. Make sure you get your edges. Oh, it looks beautiful. Wipe it off. Flip it again. Pour a little in the hand. Doesn't take much. A little can like this lasts a long time. Rub it in good. Make sure you rub the edges again, because sometimes it drips down like this. You wipe it off. You want to wipe the edge a little bit too. On the last side. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, got a little on my shirt. Okay, looking nice. Looking nice. The edge here. Put that down again. Doesn't take much, just rub it in a little bit. Wipe it off. Wipe the edges so you don't get too many stains, although we're going to put multiple coats on here, so that's not really going to be an issue. Notice I have a cloth over the sawhorses so that you don't get scratches. Rub it completely off. And if it's not perfect, don't worry, we're going to put some more coats on. I like to put about 3 coats on. Gotta let them dry in between. Look how nice that's looking. Clean it off a little more. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now we're going to do the next one. Here we have the second one. Same thing. Rub it in. A little more. Apply it liberally. It's going to soak up. And that is it for the first coat. Let's wipe that off. Wipe that off there. We're going to put another coat on, so don't worry too much about how it looks. Get it nice and clean. And let it dry. And that's all you got to do. Okay, I've let these go about 8 hours now. And I'm going to flip, what I've done is I've flipped them on their tops so that the bottoms are up. And I'm going to put a heavy coat on the bottom. And that might be the last coat I put on. The bottom. A little more than that. Yeah, the bottoms are not as important as the tops. But let's get a good thick coat on the bottom and let it soak in. There we go. Let this soak in a little bit. I'm going to put a little more on. And then tomorrow, after it's all dry, I'm going to flip them on their bottoms. And then I'll be able to do the sides, the tops, the sides and the tops, and they'll be good to go. So let's see. A little more on. Just soaking it right up. It's really soaking it up. And that's what you want. A little more over here. How's that looking? Just keep working it in. Don't worry about the swirls. You're going to rub this off in the end. Just let it soak in. There, let's let it soak for a minute. Put this down. There were gloves. Get our rag again. Wipe it off. Remember, we're just doing the bottoms here. Don't worry about this marks on the side. We're going to do the sides a lot deeper. Let's just get the bottoms done as much as we want. There. Okay, I went ahead and brought these inside because it's a little windy outside. And I don't want the finish to dry too fast. I went ahead and I put on 2 coats now completely. So I'm starting the 3rd coat right now. It's really soaking the stuff up. Wood is so dry. But I'm using less right now than I was using before, so it's soaking up less. Go ahead and let that sit into this one here. One more on. There you can see how wet it is. Let's let that soak everything right up. There's Ruby. Hi. She's out there guarding squirrels. Or taking a nap, one of the two. I like to rub it in a little more as you get to the final coats. Makes for a smoother surface. This one again. Notice how I'm pretty much going with the grain. It's a pretty common technique when working with wood, whether you're staining or finishing. Work with the grain. Looks nice. Let's get a rag from outside here. Wipe the edges down. Always some on the edges. Look at it, drink it up. You can see it from this angle right here. It just drinks it right up. Let's rub it one more time. Spread it out a little more. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's wipe it off now. This is the third coat. And it wouldn't surprise me if this required 4 coats. This is really drinking up the finish. Okay, so that is the left side as you're looking at it. Now we're going to flip it and do the tops. And we're going to let it dry, and then we'll flip it over and do the other sides. And I'm going to be liberal on these tops here because they're just so dry. They're just so dry. And the tops are probably the most important anyway, because that's when people see. As long as the speakers are on the floor, that's what people see. Uh-oh, someone's having fun. Put that in. Let's sit for a sec. You can see how wet it is. Beautiful. There you can get a good glimpse. But now look, see how this is just soaking it up. Look right there. Keep spreading it out till it doesn't want to drink anymore. Let's hit it a second time here because they're just so dry. I'm going to wet this up a little bit. Each coat requires less. Because it's so wet. Wipe our edges down. Starting to look quite nice though. Let's see. Okay. Another 30 seconds and we'll wipe it off. Okay, see, that's better. It's not dry in places like it was. So we're finally getting a surface little build up. The wood will soak in the finish until it can't absorb anymore, and then the finish will build up, and you get a nice, soft. Sometimes, if you want to use a shiny sort of finish, you can get a shiny finish, gloss finish. I like this tung oil finish, as I've said before, because it's kind of, it's not glossy. That's what it is. It's not glossy. I don't want glossy. Okay, got this side 3 coats, that side 3 coats. We got the other side to do 1 more coat on. We might be finished. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll put a 4th coat on. Not sure right yet. We'll check and see here in a little bit. Now, one thing I like about this tung oil finish is, first of all, as you can see, the plastic gloves don't do all that much, but it provides a slippery surface, so it's easier to rub them. But what I like about this tung oil finish is a little bit of Dawn, and you wash up. Of course, Dawn is the miracle soap. For anybody that doesn't know, Dawn cuts everything. Let that water get a little warm there. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's better. Rinse off. Okay. See how things are looking from here. They're looking pretty good from here. Let's get some light on. Yeah, they're looking pretty good. I'll probably do a 4th coat. You don't need to. It's really up to you if you want to put a 4th coat on or not, or a 5th coat for that matter. Depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a nice, really smooth finish, the more coats you put on, the better. And it's always good to wait. It's really good to wait a day in between. The old timers will say wait 7 days. I don't think that's a little too long, but it's a good idea to wait a day. And I'll wait about 8 hours in between. I think that's pretty good. So we'll do one with that one more side, because remember the bottoms are finished already, and then we'll see what we look like.